Hello, Professor. This is Mason McCarty, and this will be my leadership video. So, to readdress, I interviewed Pastor Ryan Metz, the lead youth pastor for Cornerstone Chapel in Leesburg, Virginia. Never met the man, but I know the church. I know the lead pastor, not personally, but we do watch his sermons online, and wanted to reach out to that church specifically to talk to the youth pastor because I have aspirations of someday being a youth pastor myself. Hopefully that's where God leads me. So again, to readdress Pastor Ryan, he hasn't been the youth minister for very long, only about 2 years now, with only a few years more than that just experience alone. Had some leadership experience at Virginia Tech, where he was the president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes for 2 years, leading all kinds of events and organizing all kinds of things for the students on the campus there. One of the things that jumped out to me the most about interviewing Pastor Ryan is he seemed to have a high level of maturity about him that made me feel like he is much more seasoned and has much more experience than he actually does, which I personally felt speaks very highly of him and his calling to ministry. During his interview, the way that he presented himself and the answers that he provided gave me a lot of tools and ideas that I can use potentially in my future if I do become a youth minister, but also currently, as I am now, while still being in the military, I've got 5 years left and until retirement, and then we'll see where God leads me from there. Personally, for me, I would say, as far as Pastor Ryan goes, the biggest principle out of our workbook that he exemplified was modeling the way. Like, he, to me, set a very good example as to what an effective, trustworthy, and powerful leader, especially for the youth, looks like. And as I said in, I believe it was week 1 discussion, I've had a lot of different leadership throughout my military career, a lot of, some positive, some negative. So I'm glad to say that Pastor Ryan definitely sets a very positive example as to what a good Christian leader looks like. Mainly because first answer he gave me was he wants to be like Christ and do that servant leadership where it's like, I'm your leader, but I'm leading by serving you. I'm lifting you up to, as a form of leadership, and creating that atmosphere of trust with his staff, with the students, to let them know that it's like he gives them the feeling that he is there to look after them and to lead them in the right direction. There's so much false doctrine, a lot of things being askewed nowadays, and Pastor Ryan, another thing that he jumped on was that he wants to clearly and boldly profess the gospel, like no straying, no dancing around certain beliefs or certain doctrines. No, just strictly what the gospel says. That's what he preaches. And another way that I felt like he models a good view of leadership is he doesn't want to make it about himself. Like I said, that servant leadership, he wants to keep the focus on Christ, not himself, just be the vessel in which God speaks and speaks to those students and, helps to lead them to Christ. And I feel like going along with that servant leadership, and one thing that can apply to me currently in the military, but also further down the line, wherever wherever God leads me, is to be willing to do the jobs that you give to other people. So meaning like, don't task somebody to do something that you yourself are not willing to do. And I feel like that's a really good example of servant leadership as well, instead of merely just delegating and telling everyone else what to do, but not lifting a finger to help, like being part of the team as the leader. And one of my favorite quotes that Pastor Ryan said during this interview was he always wants to do his best to be a leader that is worth following. Like, you can't expect people to follow you if you're not worth following. So that tied into his pushing from the back as opposed to leading from the front, which I thought was a very good way to look at things, instead of just leading from the front, which, nothing wrong with it, it's still good. But carrying from the back, being the one in the back to keep the people who are falling behind with the group, which like I said, I felt like that was a very, very good example as to what a leader should be. Something else about Pastor Ryan, he to me seemed like he's very good about enabling others to act by inspiring their heart. So I know the discussion we had kind of tied those two together, but I'm going to do the same thing here, tying those two together, inspiring the heart by enabling other people to act. And one of the ways he said that he does that is he wants to establish a culture of grace, meaning he knows mistakes are going to happen. Not every venture that goes forth into trying to improve or, trying to grow as a ministry or as a campus, not everything is going to succeed. So he wants to establish that culture of, okay, well, we're not going to, demean anybody. This is a team effort. We will learn as a team, we will improve as a team and do better moving forward. And then lastly, just inspiring that shared vision, like I said in my paper, the unique thing about Christian leaders and especially, youth pastors is their shared vision should all be the same, leading people to Christ, boldly professing the gospel, and doing that without fear of repercussions or mockery or anything like that, persecution, anything like that. It's you boldly profess and you don't care what people think. So to summarize, again, I thought it was a very great interview with Pastor Ryan. He gave me a lot to think about, and I will probably be keeping him as a point of contact to reach out to for any future questions or possibly for assistance getting into youth ministry once I do retire from the military in 5 years. It was a pleasure taking this class with you, Professor. I learned a lot as far as leadership goes, and I will very soon be jumping into a new role as a leader with my next command. I'm going to be going back to a ship or some form of command where I will be put in a leadership position. So I hope that I learned enough from this course and from the book and from this interview to be able to take that model and move forward and be the best leader that I can, while also setting a good example and being that light for Christ, being someone that people can look at and, ask, like, what makes you the way that you are? And I can easily just tell them, be like, it's because of God, easily. So again, thank you for this course, Professor. It was a wonderful, wonderful learning experience, and I will see you this weekend for graduation. Thank you.